welcome to today's episode. I'm going to be your host, the Irrelevant Nerd. Today, we're going to be talking about Fantastic Four: First Steps. Is this finally going to be the Fantastic Four movie that we deserve and have been wanting now for decades? So we're a little less than a week out from the movie, and I think that almost all the signs point to yes. This is going to be the movie that we have been wanting for years. They had just released the initial reactions about a day ago, and they've all been extremely positive. Even the ones that are a bit more negative are still positive. They just had a few issues with the movie, but they're almost all universally good. There's nobody out there saying that this movie is just a total pile of shit, which, whether or not you care about reviews, they do matter, to kind of help build up hype for the movie. And so the initial hype for this is really good. I mean, so you do have to take it with a little bit of a grain of salt, because the Thunderbolts had amazing initial reviews, and I really like that movie a lot. It's one of, quite possibly, a top 7 MCU movie for me of all time, maybe creeping up on the top 5 after I'm able to rewatch it a few more times. So it doesn't mean everything, but it's a good sign that the initial reactions have been good, and very strongly so. So I think that's probably the best sign, is that the people who've actually seen a part of the movie, I believe it was the first 30 minutes, had nothing but positive things to say. And again, it's not the whole movie, so grain of salt, but it is a good indicator. And then, for me personally, as this movie was announced, I was excited to be getting the Fantastic Four in the MCU, because I did think it was our best shot to get a good Fantastic Four movie. But there was a lot about the production that I initially did not like, with them going with Shia LaBeouf over Norrin Radd. I didn't love that at all. I'm a big Norrin Radd fan. He is the Silver Surfer. Not even just that. It's you have Pedro Pascal as Reed Richards. I love Pedro Pascal, don't get me wrong, but I thought he was a very odd choice for Reed Richards, and they had it was very known that they were having a really hard time nailing this cast down, and I don't know if Pedro was just the big name who would say yes, or if they actually thought that he was going to do well. But I had questions about the casting and the characters from right off the jump, which initially dimmed my excitement. But this is one of those rare movies that I actually think the trailers have gotten better and better, and that's both the official full-length trailers as well as the TV spots. From what I've seen, and obviously, it's just a small chunk of the movie, but I have been won over. Obviously not won over entirely because I haven't seen it, but won over enough that I am a lot more open to Pedro Pascal's version of this character. He just looks like he fits it in these trailers. And so my initial worries have all been kind of calmed down by the trailer footage and just the little bit that you've seen from Pedro Pascal in particular. I think they're all just doing a really good job, and the characterization seems perfect. I follow a few channels that have some behind the scenes information, and it sounds like they really are doing these characters justice and doing them well, and are honoring the legacy that they have from the comics before them, and not being embarrassed by it, not trying to change them to be something else. So I think the marketing for this movie has been extraordinary. It's completely won me over. The trailer viewership is really strong, which is a pretty good indicator that the movie is going to be financially successful, as well as pretty decent pre-sales for their tickets as well. There are some outlets out there that think this movie might open domestically somewhere between 160 and 108 million, which would be just fantastic. I don't know if it'll do that well. I think it'll probably fall closer to about 150 mil, which will still be really good. But just, I think it's going to be a little less, because the superhero movie fatigue is real. But the pre the pre-sales have all been very strong, which doesn't speak to the quality of the movie, but you can kind of get the sense that the overall fandom in the crowd, they're being won over, and the ticket sales are consistent and they're picking up through Superman. So I think this is, very much a back on track. I don't know if it'll make $1 billion, but this is more kind of what we're going to be used to seeing with MCU movies, I think. I think Galactus looks incredible, and I like that they're doing like an actual comic accurate Galactus and not just some puff of fucking cloud in space. And they've only shown a very, very little bit of him stepping through the city. They've shown his ship, and a few kind of like farther away shots, but I think it looks really good. Like the whole visual of the movie looks really good, and that's something that the trailers have done a really good job selling that this movie is going to be unique. It's going to have its own look, and a lot of these reviews say that the scenes in space are just breathtaking, like similar to Interstellar type of breathtaking. And I think using that type of language is going to be one more thing. They're going to get people hyped and excited and think that, MCU might be back on the right track. And really, if the MCU can string together a few wins in a row where the movies are good, the box office is good, they could maybe get right back on track. I don't think they'll ever get back to phase 3 like Infinity War, Endgame numbers, reception, anything like that, but this is a really good chance to kind of keep building forward, because this is like Marvel very clearly seems like they are trying to course correct. Seems like they are putting a lot of attention and care into this movie because it is important. Like the Fantastic Four is Marvel's first family. They are incredibly, incredibly important to the Marvel brand and could be very, very valuable if they do it right. And I think the way they're doing the characters is good. I think some characters are bringing like mostly Reed and Sue's baby, Franklin Richards, is going to be in the movie. And for those of you not in the know, Franklin Richards is an extremely powerful character, like extremely powerful with like god-like powers, like reality warping type of powers. And I think it'll be really exciting because it seems like the premise of the movie is Galactus wants this kid, and some more behind the scenes stuff that we've heard is that potentially Robert Downey Jr.'s Doctor Doom is going to want Franklin Richards. So I think introducing that element, one, people care about babies and want people's kids to be okay, so the general audience is going to care. But then for the fans of the comics, bringing in Franklin Richards, even as a baby, and what could possibly happen is extremely exciting. And so you use these big characters like the Fantastic Four, and you bring along some of these smaller characters to bring them into the mainstream. It's a perfect way to do it. And with all kind of the rumors around the Fantastic Four, like the leaks and stuff, of the biggest rumor being that Robert Downey Jr.'s Doctor Doom, while not being in this movie, is going to be in the post-credits scene. And I know that the internet is pretty split on how they feel about Robert Downey Jr. being Doctor Doom. Like, I will never be convinced that he was not pulled back 100% just for the money. He is a very bankable star, especially in the MCU. I'm open to it. I don't know if they're going to do a great version, but I am excited to see what they do because it is kind of shrouded in mystery. How are we going to do this? Like, is he a Tony Stark variant? Was Tony Stark in the MCU a Victor Von Doom variant that was adopted? Like, are they going to change how it existed in the past? Because the rumor is he is going to play up his likeness to Tony Stark to fool some of the heroes. So I'm very curious to how they're going to do it, whether it's good or bad. I want to see it, and I think that's how a lot of people feel, is they want to see it and judge for themselves. And so even if it's just in the post-credits scene, if people hear that Doctor Doom is in this movie in any way, it's just going to get a bigger boost. And I think all of these point towards, yes, this is going to be a good movie. The trailers they look solid. The leaks of what the story could be, it seems solid. The reviews are solid. Guys, I think this is the Fantastic Four movie that we have been waiting for. And I know the internet likes to do this, but I think if Marvel nails this, like, you know, we really are back. Like, we are so back. Like, that's how important this project is. The only thing that has kind of given me a little bit of reservation still is the director of the movie is a fairly lesser known dude. His name is Matt Shakman. Matt Shakman. Or whatever his name is, but he is a little underexperienced. That's the only thing that worries me. He has a lot of TV directing credits, not a ton of movie directing credits. His biggest one, and proves that he works within the Marvel system, was he was the director of WandaVision, which I really liked pretty much up until the last episode, but the directing was not the issue. It was the story was the issue near the end there. So really, that's the only thing I would, at this point, that's the only thing I would change about the project. And it's really the only reason I'm nervous about the director is because I am still salty that Brad Bird, the director of The Incredibles and Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol, was not tapped to do this. Because, like, when I look at The Incredibles, the first Incredibles movie in particular, I'm like, this is how a Fantastic Four movie really should be done. And the power sets are very similar. Obviously, you have the Speedster instead of the Human Torch, with Dash instead of Johnny, but same basic set. And I was bummed that they didn't pick him. But other than that, I think all signs are pointing that this is going to be a good movie. And let me know, are you guys excited? Have you already bought tickets? Are you going to wait to hear that it's good before you go? I know a lot of Marvel movies are kind of that way now, as people want to hear confirmation before they go. But let me know what you think. Let me know where your excitement level is at. I made this video because really I'm excited for this movie, and I just needed a break from doing all the Superman content. Like, I love Superman, but it's been just a lot over the past couple weeks. And to also be watching Fant Four Stick a little bit later this week. This is actually a first time watch for me, because when that movie came out, I thought the trailers looked absolutely fucking terrible, and then the movie came out and the reviews were absolutely terrible, so I never checked it out. But in preparation for Fantastic Four First Steps, I do want to watch it, so I will have a review for that later this week, as well as probably one or two more Superman videos. But let me know what you guys are feeling about all of this, and I'll see you in the next one.